changing grip. How do you change grips? Well, in changing grips, if you watch the pros, they do it relatively easily because they have both hands on the racket. In your case, if you have both hands on the paddle, you can change grips easily. So, for example, if you hit the backhand, index knuckle on bevel 1, you just hit one, right? You just follow through, and then the ball comes back to you. You can easily change grips by just using your non-dominant arm to help you change grip as you're taking the paddle back. And now you're ready for that. Hit the stroke, grab the racket again, grab the paddle again, and then if now it's a backhand, just twist it with, using both hands, twist it back the other way. Hit, recover, forehand, twist, hit, recover, backhand, twist, hit, recover. So with the second hand on the paddle, you can easily switch grips. And if you're at the back line, you have time. Like I say, if you're at the net, then bevel 2 for both forehand and backhand. So if you don't want to switch grips, then you're forced to use a single grip for both forehand and backhand. If you were to choose standard forehand grip with the index knuckle on bevel 3, then when you hit a backhand, you're going to end up doing this a lot, tipping it up, because in order to hit with a vertical paddle face, you basically instead of doing this, which is a relaxed one, you'll actually have to twist your paddle 90 degrees to make a vertical paddle face. If you do that, you have to have a 90-degree wrist rollover in order to make a vertical paddle face so that you can get a hard shot, so you can hit the ball hard. So you don't want to use a standard forehand grip, which is called an Eastern forehand. You want to use bevel 2 if you're going to not change grips. So if you put your index finger base knuckle on bevel 2 and you don't switch grips, then when you make the swing low to high here, you'll have to rotate your wrist around 45 degrees. So if you were to hit it just with swing your arm, you can see the paddle faces up, so you have to rotate the wrist over. Same thing on forehand with that same grip. I just swing and hit out in front of me, it's facing up, so you have to do a wrist roll. And now you're back to trying to time that contact, that angle, which is very, very difficult. So you're back to square one. So I highly recommend changing grips. I've been doing it, and whenever I do it properly, it just feels really good. It feels easy. I'm not feeling like I'm having to skill it over the net. I'm just hitting my stroke, relaxed, and it just goes over without much effort. So change grips. Now if you have a two-hand backhand, I have a change of grip of about 1 bevel. Depends on what you use for your backhand two-handed grip, but the one I find the most comfortable is with my right hand index base knuckle on bevel 2, and my left hand on the index knuckle on the opposite bevel. It's a little short handle for this, but basically once in a while I actually hit a two-hander out there if I need stability and control that I wouldn't be able to get with the one-hander. So there's bevel 2 that's opposite here. It's actually bevel 3, 4, 5, 6. It's actually bevel 6. But it's much easier to talk about it as sort of the equivalent of if this is bevel 1 here, it's the other end of the paddle with your other hand. It's almost like this is a forehand, like you're hitting a forehand left-handed, and so it's like bevel 1, bevel 2. So essentially, for me, my comfortable two-hander is bevel 2 on both hands. And then, when you hit it how far out in front, foot and a half, just like on the other two, but the guiding arm, the arm that affects how far out in front to hit in terms of that 1.5 feet is your left arm, because the left arm causes the paddle to rise sooner than the right arm does. This right arm, actually from here, it actually drops and then rises. So you can see that the controlling arm for the paddle rise on the two-hander is this this arm, the non-dominant arm, left arm for a right hand. So that's why you want this grip the way it is here, is because you're hitting much closer to your body in terms of your right arm, and this is sort of like a two-handed backhand, or this is like a one-handed backhand. If I just do this arm, it looks like a one-handed backhand, but whereas I would hit a one-hander here, I hit the two-hander here because this arm is restricting how far up front I can hit. So that's why I'm on bevel 2, because if I reach down with my right hand here, which is just 6 inches off this shoulder, then I'm on bevel 2 in terms of the index finger base knuckle. So you don't have to remember any of this in terms of where the knuckles are. You don't have to remember it. Just go like, what did Chris tell me? He said, well, let's see, forehand, you're hitting it 1.5 feet out in front. You just relaxed up here like so. Just relax, grab it. And maybe this is typical height. And there it is, base knuckle of my index finger is on bevel 3. Backhand, hitting 1.5 feet out in front of this, grab it. Index base knuckle is on bevel 1. So that's how you do it. And like I say, if you want to do no grip change, and if your opponents normally hit low balls, then you can hit with one grip and use bevel 2. But you gotta, if you don't hit the ball low, if you're not making contact low, then you have to do a wrist roll. If you get a high bouncer, if somebody lobs it, bounces high, and you want to hit it up here, then you have to do a wrist roll in order to get that paddle vertical. Seen from the sides, if you have a continental grip, which is bevel 2, and you hit out in front. If you just swing, you can see if you swing and hit 1.5 feet out in front, paddle's facing up. So in order to hit a vertical paddle face shot, you got to do the wrist roll here. So as you come up, you got to do that wrist roll to get it vertical. Same thing on the forehand. If you got the continental grip, and you would normally just relax with a relaxed swing and be here, you got to do that wrist roll. You basically got to do that, and that feels, that doesn't feel good to me. So now it's stretch. It's like it's torquing my arm a little bit. So that's not good. And the other thing is now you're rolling the wrist over, and you have to have perfect timing on your contact with the ball. So that's why if you're going to hit, you basically want to pick the center of your zone of bounces. If the ball bounces anywhere from here to here, then you want to say I'm gonna hit the ball mostly. This will be my average bounce height, and that's where my grip is. You just reach out, say at this height. Here, you reach. Since you're reaching down, your knuckle comes down on top. Here, if it bounces this high, reaching up, then your knuckle's on below. This height, you're not going to get that much pickleball unless somebody's lobbing 40-footers. Okay, that's basically the issues of grip and hitting out in front and vertical paddle face and low to high contact. Now there's a whole another set of strokes having to do with slicing, but that's another topic. We'll talk about that later.